What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bill, and in today's video we are doing some more modifications to the front of the FJ Cruiser. Now you see I've got the lights off and the front grille off. I just did another video changing out the headlights, so put a link to that right up here, or is it over here? But if you're interested in that, to see how to get that out of the way. But I figured while I got everything off and cleared out of the way, I'd go ahead and tackle this bumper, put that back on, put the new bumper on, which, as you can see, I have sitting over here in my pile of parts. It is a winch bumper. It's a Smittybilt M1 winch bumper. This thing is heavy. Like, the description said 200 pounds. I ordered it off of Amazon. It said it was 75 pounds. But then when the shipment got here, it was marked as 300 pounds, but that was including the shipping box and everything. So I'm not sure exactly how much it weighs, but it is not lightweight. So luckily I do have some new suspension components for this that I haven't put on there, but I have a 3-inch lift. It's a 3-inch rough country lift with coilovers, and then I got some SPA upper control arms that I'm going to put on. That'll probably be the next project after we get the headlights, after we get this front done, get the headlights in, put back together, and this bumper taken care of. So because of how heavy it is, I actually want to measure all right, we are 35 3/4 to the middle of the wheel to the bumper. Well, 36 on the passenger side. On the driver's side, it was 35 1/4. So I'm curious, especially with this old suspension on there, how much that big old heavy bumper, along with the winch, is going to make this sag. But first things first, we got to get this bumper cover off. So there's a bunch of little clips. Just pry them out and then they should pop off. I think we come along the back side here, we got 2 bolts there. So it's got one down here. Two, so it feels like we got about 2, 4, 6, 8 bolts that we need to take off. So yep, 10mm. All right, there's actually 2 more underneath, right here and there. So now it feels like this bumper cover's about ready to come off, but this should all just pull off of here now. And so that's our actual bumper. So we gotta remove that. We gotta remove this bumper brace, which is kind of where the upper part of the bumper attached to. All right, so the bumper itself, 4 bolts, 3 bolts here, 1 on the inside. One better look, you can see the 4 bolts. They were there, still there. This is pretty light. It feels like aluminum, maybe. Or it's not very heavy. I got that off of there now. So I gotta start taking this all apart. Bolt it here. And we should have a new relocation bracket. Basically, instead of having pushed out this far, we gotta push this line back so it's closer, so it's not rubbing up against the bumper. Now, let's take a look in our parts here to see. We can't find that bracket. So like that. Put the original nut back on there. So yeah, I tightened that a little too much. Hit that bolt out, or broke that bolt. So looks like it's a stud that's pounded in there. Might even be welded a smidge. Let me grab a hammer and see if I can't knock that out. Alright, so that turned into a whole thing, but ended up having to drill that out. It was welded in there, the stud. So drilled it out, drilled it a little bit bigger, put a new bolt and nut on there. Now I bent this line back so it can be attached, and it says that there should be a clamp. Let's add it. So it's supposed to have included it. So I'm missing a clamp that should go on there. It's not like it's a hard part to find. I can go grab one from any hardware store, but just kind of sucks if it's supposed to be in the bag and it's not. Alright, so we are about a 1/4 inch. And about a 1/4 inch on that side, so I think we are good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the original hardware back on. And you can see why this had to be bent a little bit back to make room for this. It definitely needs a clamp to keep it from bouncing around and rubbing on anything. So we will get that. But yeah, now it's just a matter of getting these bolts tightened down. I gotta look up what the torque specs are on that. Alright, so I've been messing around. I did have to take these other brackets off. As you see, there's 2 bolts here, and then there was the one on here. The one is kind of tucked behind the fender flare, but got those out. And also, I'm going to have to cut these. The directions say some newer model vehicles, which to me would be like the later years. It says 2007 to 2013, so that would make me think it would be not the 2007, which I have, that you need to measure back 3 inches from here and cut. And well, that's what I'm gonna have to do. So you can't just take the bracket off because you need these pieces here for where the headlights go on, but right here will be in the way of the bumper, so we're gonna need to cut those. should be pretty simple with just Sawzall, cut those off. But then I set this winch in here just to see how it fits. And you can see we're going to have another problem with this bar right here. It says nothing about removing that or trimming this or anything in the instructions. But definitely can't have it poking into the back of the control backs for the winch. So I think what I'm going to do, there's a bolt down here and a bolt back there. That's the only thing on this. I don't know how much support that's providing. I don't know if it'd be better just to cut that or to remove this whole thing. And to remove it, I'd have to take the hood latch off, get that bolt out, and then this whole bar would come out, and I would just need to relocate this sensor somewhere, which I guess that has something to do with the alarm or something. It's connected to the horn. But yeah, so I'm not sure if it's best to just trim that or just take that whole bar out of there. But yeah, so I got to trim these down, either trim this or just get rid of the entire bar. And looked up, the only torque I found was from another bumper, and it said 48 foot-pounds for these bolts. Seems a little light to me, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that to 48, and then I'll keep looking to see if I can find what the factory specs were, if it's 48 or if it should be heavier than that. But I'll do at least 48 for now, and then as if get these trimmed down. We've taken the winch apart a bit. But now we should be able to, these wires all need to come to the top. This ground wire down here, we need to run through there so that everything else could get, this can get mounted down. Get these boots back on here and get this cleaned up, and we can get this thing mounted. Alright, so how the winch gets mounted is there's these slots here, these bolts slide into, or these nuts slide into, and then you'll see there's a hole here. There's 4 holes underneath, 4 of those. I just set the winch down on top of that, put the bolts up through, line them up with the nuts, and bolt everything down. Ideally, I should probably have a little bit heavier of a winch on there than 9,500 pounds, but this is the one I had. This is the one that was on the this is the one I had on the tracker, so you may recognize it. But yeah, I pulled this off the tracker to put on here. It's a winch I already had. I put it to use. Let's see how it works. If it ends up not being strong enough, I'll get another one, a larger one, and swap it out. But I mean, this thing's not that huge or heavy, so this should be okay, and we'll see how it works out. But let me get those tightened down. The wiring harness that came with the lights, it's just kind of roughly laid out. Obviously I'm going to put that through the firewall into the center console there. We have a relay that I'll get a self-tapper, screw in around there somewhere, so I have the power. And then I just have the 2 different leads run out through here, and we've got plenty of slack to play with, so you've got more than enough wire. So I can get that all routed and look pretty. And what that's going to are Pro Comp pod lights. You see here, 4 LEDs. Alright, so got the lights in. They're tightened down. Got the cables run down and connected to them on both sides there. Got the winch cable pulled out enough to fit through the front. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up into position. And then I just got a ratchet that I'm going to throw in there to kind of keep the keep it from falling. And hopefully we can just kind of slide that on. Not too much. So I'm just going to throw that ratchet in there to keep that from sliding off completely. It slides over these 2 hook points. I think as long as I just keep that or something in there, that'll keep it from sliding off. So I can actually work around and try to get the bolts lined up. Now there's 2 holes there in the bumper. That'll line up to these 2 holes in the mounting plate, and then this bracket goes behind Hey guys, so back at it again. It's been like a week, a little over a week since I've been out here working on anything. In the video, it'll still be the same video, but took a trip down to Dallas for a week while the kids were on spring break. Back and picking up where we left off, which was putting this bumper back together. I don't know exactly where we were left off on the video. I think we were still trying to get these bolts in the bumper, and they are a pain in the butt. Because I think I showed the brackets. You got to put the brackets in with the nuts and then put the bolts going from the back to the front and into the nuts. But there was absolutely no way to get 2 hands in there. I kept wanting to try to reach through here, which I thought was a cutout, but it's not a cutout. It's just a piece of aluminum framing around it. It makes it look like it's cut out, but it's not actually cut out. If it was, it would make getting that bracket easy. So the only way you could get it, and I don't know, where's my flashlight? So, I don't know, I had to take the whatchamahoober-doober, I had to take the grill back off, and you could reach back behind the grill to kind of finagle the bracket into place. And then if you reached through here, and there's a small little hole, I don't know if you could see it back there, but you could kind of, if you stretch your fingers out and grab the bracket through there and then try to put the screws or the bolts in through from the other side. Once I realized that there's that little gap and you could kind of hold it in place with your finger, then I was able to get it. Until I figured that out, this thing kicked my butt for about 2 days trying to get those bolts in. So these little holes right there where you can get a finger through, and I don't know if you can see that nut back there, but that's the thing you got to hold into place. But you have to put it in from the other side. Anyway, finally got that on, got the winch pretty much put back together. Just got to run the power cable, run the ground, and then get this control box back on. We are 35.5 on this side. And just under 35.5 on this side. Let us say, I know the last time we measured it was off by a 1/4 inch between the two sides. I thought I have to go back and look at the video to see what it was now, but I must say that's like a 1/4 inch maybe, if even that. So not too bad. No, not too bad. I thought it was, you know, it is heavy, and you know, once it settles, everything might settle down a little bit. But we put the new suspension on anyway. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Got everything loosely wired in here. Got the ground and the power running from the winch up through here. Got everything zip tied in, so those cables are coming up. Same for these for the running lights and for the fog lights. Those are loosely run up, and those are run up here. So I got the battery connections for this relay, battery connections for this relay, and these two relays is setting. Oh, I'm not even showing you what I'm looking at. So I got the running lights and the fog lights running up to two different relays, one here, which they each have their own fuse and power and ground wire. And then the switch wires are run through, I don't know if you can see that down there. Let me find. I swear I just had it in my hand. It's messing with me because I started filming this, and now, oh, there it is. All right. So I got the switch wires run, and I just poked a hole through that rubber seal there, pulled the wires through, and then underneath here, you see right there is where they're pulling through. Then I'm just going to run them up here to these two switches. Now we've got the wires run for the running light switch and for the bumper light switch. I'm gonna go ahead, get this stuff stripped back a little bit, get the wires stripped, and then check back in with you when I'm doing the connections. Alright, so there's 3 wires coming off of here, which is power from the battery, ground, and then this is the return. So it's this power coming into the switch and then returning to the relay. So on these switches, the yellow, there's 4 lights. This 4th light is for like accessory lighting. So when you turn your key on, any backlighting will turn it on, which I don't necessarily need. So I just need these 3 wires. So the green is the power coming in, the red is the power going out, and then the black is the ground. So when you turn this on, try not to touch my wires and short anything out there. It should. Nice. So yeah, let me get that cleaned up. I'll go ahead and pull these fuses out. But now that everything's taped up, push the wires back in. Grab our other lights, or other switch over here. All right, so now we got the first switch in, everything connected. Put this second light in. It fits perfectly in there. Now the only problem we have with the way I wired it is it's going directly to the battery. So if I leave these switches on, it will drain the battery. But let's go ahead, put these fuses back in. All right, stick the fuse back in. So now I shouldn't have to put a key in or anything. If I turn driving lights on, they should come on. Spotlights. That one doesn't seem to be connected. It's because it's got a blown fuse. So there, oh wow, those are pretty bright. You can tell that just in here. So yeah, without turning anything on, I turned the running lights on and fog lights. So that means I could accidentally leave those on and kill the battery. So what I'm going to end up doing is, instead of wiring these, just changing where these, so what I'm going to eventually do is just changing where these two red wires are going. And have them go into, once I figure out a fuse I can tap into there that's tied to the ignition. That way I can leave the running light switch on all the time. My driving light switch, I can just leave that on all the time. When I turn the ignition off, everything will turn off. And then when I turn the ignition back on, it'll turn that on. That way I don't have to keep turning that on and off whenever I want them. But then the bumper lights, I'm not really ever going to drive around with those on unless I'm out, you know, if I'm not going to run driving down the road with those on, because that would annoy people pretty badly. Those are pretty tall, pretty high up, and shining right in your eyes. So yeah, not something I would normally drive with on unless I'm actually off-road. But these I'd keep running. So that's a project for another day. Finding a fuse to wrap that up into. I got to get all this stuff cleaned up. But this has been an ongoing project. God, it's supposed to be a simple bumper install, and I think I've been everywhere from the front to the back, wiring up lights, wiring up all kinds of different things. So I might even split that up into 2 videos. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, the bumper's installed. Everything's lit up. Oh, you know what? I didn't even doing all this for the bumper and didn't even verify that the winch works. Like I said, we've been everywhere on this video, haven't we? Let's all right, our switch is on. We are engaged. We were disengaged. Try that again. Nice. You can see the light. It was pulling down on the lights when you first hit the switch. So definitely should keep the car running before, if you're going to be using the winch. It does pull a lot of power, but I mean, it's working and everything is good to go. Got a few things to clean up. I still got some wires hanging down. I got, like I said, I got some hooks and everything for the winch, so those will come in. And I got to figure out what to do with these fender liners as well. Didn't see anything in the instructions about cutting those or what to do with those, but definitely can't just leave them hanging down like that. So probably trim them and see if there's a way to attach them to the bottom of the bumper up out of the way. But I think this is going to finally wrap up this video. I said it's been a few days. It's been all over the place. We've gone from installing a bumper to wiring a winch and headlights and pod lights, everything else. So I think I'll cut the video off now. I'll finish cleaning up this stuff. I'll find a spot, ignition place to the ignition that I can wire that to. Maybe I'll do another video. I might break this whole video, this all out into a video by itself. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. That's going to go ahead and wrap things up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.